Well, good morning, and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson, and the Morning Report is a production of FightBackMedia.com, 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 and FightBackMediaTP.com. We are thrilled that you are here today. It is a mostly cloudy, temperate day, about 70 degrees here in West Central Florida. Hope that it's nice where you are. Pretty sure it's not as nice as it is here, but you know, you may visit, you may not stay. How about that? All right. Anyway, a lot went on yesterday, I guess. Let me see if I can pull some of this up. A lot went on yesterday, which is weird because this is Sunday. I don't really know if this stuff goes on Sunday or not, or has it always gone on Sunday? I don't know. I didn't think so. I really didn't think much happened. Um, but it seems like a girl won a primary. Your girl won a primary, or at least a presidential preference primary, a Republican presidential preference primary. And if you had to guess the place, you would have guessed Washington D.C. Washington D.C. is the home base of a lot of the large Republican donors, Democrat donors too, really, and um, and you are more likely to find quote establishment. I hate that phrase. I'm sorry, I'm using it, but establishment Republicans in a place like DC. Apparently DC is a swamp and part, and what a lot of people didn't realize was that the swamp's full of Republicans too. It just is. Republicans who much would rather much have the status quo, things as they are, the back and forth, because the back and forth gives them purpose, just like the left. If you actually solve the problem, whatever that problem is, then it's easy that we don't need you, and we don't have, and people don't have to keep paying you, and you don't get the. I mean, it. You know what I'm saying? If you solve it, then you diminish your usefulness, quote end quote. Um, so that's where those folks are in mass, and so it's not surprising that Nikki Haley won those 19 delegates. That's right, 19. You need 1,215 to mathematically, quote, win, end quote. So she has 19. And the hope now is that that would lead her into this landslide moving forward with momentum into Super Tuesday, which is this Tuesday. Even here in the state of Florida, we get to be part of Super Tuesday, and it is a all Republican presidential preference primary. That's hard to say. I had to really concentrate on that. Um, but this whole idea that this is going to jettison her into the nomination, I don't think so. My thing is run, and I said, it's funny. I was talking to my son on Sunday. I'm like, run. It's fine. Run until you run out of money, because that's what it normally is. Go until you run out of money. Not a problem. This article is from where? The Hill. Nikki Haley will win the DC or won the Washington DC Republican presidential primary, netting her first victory of the GOP nominating process. Decision Desk HQ projects. Well, said Haley garnered 12. Now this is why I continue to beat my head against my desk when I hear all of this hoopla about winning and losing and stuff. Haley garnered 1,274 votes to former President Trump's 676 votes. This is less than 2,000 people. in a country with 330 million, even if half of those vote, if a million or 150 million people vote, and it's less than that, we're still talking about less than 2,000 people. Why? Why does anybody think this makes a makes a big difference? For the win, I'll finish. The win for former United Nations ambassador breaks a streak of more than half dozen victories for Trump to start out the GOP contest for the nomination. It's a much needed triumph for Haley, so she can top Trump somewhere. You know, I hope they party like it was 1999 last night. I really do, because it's better to win than to lose. It's better to, I mean, and this is not the game. This is okay. So you were getting trounced, and you finally scored a touchdown, or you got a field goal. You got some points on the board. Good. Now you have to wonder how encouraged they're going to be here in the next 48 hours or 72 hours. Um, we at our house just received our sample ballots, and I guess we could cast a protest vote for Ron DeSantis or me, write-in candidate me. I guess we could. It's foolish because it's not really protesting anything. It is my prediction that Donald Trump will win the Florida Republican presidential preference primary. Wow, that's a lot to say. Handily, handily. Governor DeSantis will receive about 9% of the votes, maybe a little less, maybe 7, and he'll come in second or third because people in Florida at least know that Ron DeSantis has dropped out of the race. So it would just be a protest vote, which means that the people who are going to go vote are Trump supporters primarily. And this will continue to happen. Nikki Haley, I also predict that Nikki Haley will finally run out of money. And on Tuesday night, will announce that she is formally dropping out of the race. Now, she's also, and I don't know, you know, like, remember the color purple? No, the real one, not the new one, not the musicals, not the movie musical, not that one. No, the real one, where Sophia goes stomping over to Celie and complaining about how how Harpo beat on her, and because Celie told Harpo that Celie that Sophia won't mind, so she says to her she says to Harpo, beat her, and then Sophia shows up and says, uh, if you want, I mean, if you keep advising him like you do, he gonna wind up dead. Hmm. Uh, so you have to wonder who is advising Nikki Haley. Are they advising her because they think that she can win, or are they advising her because they plan? Because she's fairly young. In this game, she's just a little over 50, 51, 52, something like that. Uh, are they ready to use her in some other capacity? Why? Is she just being held out to try to hurt Trump in some way? Is she a plant from people from the Lincoln Project? What's the deal there? Because and I asked this question because she's already said that she doesn't feel like she needs to after portraying herself as a quote real Republican and a Republican alternative to Donald Trump, that she doesn't have to stand by the pledge to support the nominee. Now, if you're like me, if you're either a president or a former member of a Republican executive committee, the Republican executive committees run these caucuses. That's yeah. Let me pull back the curtain a little bit. They run these caucuses. We all had to sign, stand up, raise the right hand, right, and swear a loyalty oath that we would support the nominee. Now, how in the hell can a person who's running for a nomination for the highest office in the land as a Republican decide that they are not, Chris Christie, that they are not going to go by the same pledge that you and I have to go by, or said we would anyway? Hmm? They could publicly say, "I'm not doing that. I don't feel like I have to do that." When, and it's a big deal to me because back in 2016, there was a member of the Hillsborough County Republican Executive Committee that went after me in the local media, went after me in local media, because I got a call from um, William Marsh, one of the reporters and writers for the TampaBay.com, and asking me that he'd heard from somebody that said that I wasn't living up to my vow of loyalty, my loyalty vow. Yeah. So how does Nikki Haley get away with saying that? I don't feel like it? What? So why would any Republican support her? I guess I mean, if you don't support Trump, the easiest thing to do then is just to stay home, right? A lot of Republicans did not support John McCain. So you know what they did? They stayed home. Some held their nose, chose John McCain, because a lot of them knew who John McCain was. Yes, it is disrespectful to speak ill of the dead, but it's not disrespectful to tell the truth. Some saw him for exactly what everybody else found out he was. We all found out eventually, right? However, this woman decided that she didn't have to follow that same loyalty oath. That's restless. So why would you keep supporting? I don't understand. All right, let's have another conversation. Let's talk about another. Let's talk about the media and how the media. Well, hey everybody, I'm Willie Lawson of fightbackmedia.com and the Morning Report. Well, I got you. Well, I got your attention. I need you to do something for me. Um, those of you who have been following me for a while know that recently, back in November, I had a health crisis, and I had another one, 11 years ago. And through everything, that when they say, behind every great man is even a greater woman. I don't know how great I am, if I'm great at all. But what I know for sure is that I have a great woman behind me, beside me, and sometimes in front of me. Um, I am a believer that marriage is not a 50-50 proposition. It's a 100% proposition, because sometimes when you got nothing, when you're laying flat on your back, trying to breathe, trying not to die, and I don't mean that hyperbolically, I mean that for real. Somebody's got to come with 100. This woman here comes with 100 when you got nothing, when you can offer them nothing. Woman comes with 100. We have a YouTube channel, and it's called Deb's Life, and we do it together. I'd like for you, if you support me at all by watching any of these videos, if you're watching now, that if you would go to the link that's in the description box and subscribe to our family channel, because that's really our family channel, I would be highly appreciative. I'm not asking you to donate. I'm not asking you to buy anything. I'm just asking you to help us gain some subscribers. That's all I'm asking. If you do that, I'd be highly appreciative. All right, we got to get out of here. Thank you again. Remember this, never forget. We love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Bye-bye now. Oftentimes, they're very difficult to understand. I do it on purpose. Let's see if I can go out of the way. This one right here is Rachel Maddow. I had started calling her Rachel Mad Cow, and that racial mad cow, and that wasn't very nice. I haven't stopped doing it, but it's not very nice. Her and a lot of the leftist media and leftists in general are losing their mind. The liberal media establishment went apoplectic last week because the Supreme Court has decided to do its job. This is an article from Town Hall Magazine. The court will hear arguments concerning presidential immunity, which will delay the Trump trials concerning election interference and possibly classified documents case prosecuted by special counsel Jack Smith. The freakout was, of course, predictable and a bit comedic. It seems like every Democrat in the country, especially those in media, is suffering from the same memory lapses Joe Biden suffers from, which were documented at length in special counsel Robert Hur's report on whether the president will willfully retain classified material. Jack Smith also asked the courts to review presidential immunity. The person who they think is hanging the moon along with Fani Willis, Jack Smith, because it's Get Trump, asked that the court review this whole presidential immunity thing. And because it involves Trump, everybody is taking crazy pills. Nicholas Fondacara tweeted this: ignoramuses. Ignoring that special counsel Jack Smith literally asks the Supreme Court to hear / expedite the Trump immunity case. Those women on The View, anybody? Okay, do me a favor. Write in the comments if you still watch The View. Write in the comments if you ever watch The View. Write in the comments if you even know anybody who watches The View. Write in the comments if you even suspect anybody that you are in contact with on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis that you suspect of having watched The View at least once in the past 10 years. The View claims that hearing the case is a plot by conservative justices to help Trump. Kind of ignoring the fact they ruled against him before, because you can trust John Roberts, right? And the chick, right? You can trust her too. No. Stupid. Still, that didn't stop your girl here, Rachel Madcow, from suffering a meltdown on MSNBC. Now, Rachel is a Rhodes Scholar, so you don't see your typical spaz attacks on these networks. She's more in control of her emotions, but it's clear that she's irritated to no end that the Supreme Court opted to do its job. The beauty is that the court can and should ignore these reactions, as they are irrelevant to carrying out their judicial review duties. Congress and elected bodies respond to the will of the people, not the courts. Now, Trump's legal drama is on the docket. And the trial for the Stormy Daniels hush payments case in Manhattan is set to start on March 25th. And it's amongst the weakest case facing the president. They're still talking about Stormy Daniels. They're still talking about some washed up porn star. Sort of lays out the desperation, right? Or the lengths they'll go to. Wow. Absolutely wow. Um, is this good news for Trump? I don't know. We'll find out, right? It could be. It could be good news for Trump. But you know what's not good news? Let me see here. Do you know what's not good news? Some of the latest polling that's going on. This guy here, President Biden. The latest New York Times Siena College poll is sending another round of shockwaves through Democrat circles, seeing Trump unambiguously leaning. That's a big word to say. Biden by a modest but serious margin, especially in a survey conducted by their vaunted paper of record, New York Times. Especially, let's see, had set off alarm bells and reactions ranging from fear to rage. The data set shows that Trump ahead by 5 points, head to head, 48 to 43%, which aligns with an array of national and state level polls, which we've been covering for months. We've been looking at for months, and while it's mostly folly to read too deeply into the internal crosstabs of a single poll taken 8 months before voting begins, some of this stuff is wow. You ready? Overall, uh, Biden 43, Trump 48. Amongst men, Biden 40, Trump 48, 49. Amongst women, equally divided 46 all. People between 18 and 29. Biden wins 53 to 41. White folks, Biden 40%, Trump 53%. Amongst black folks, Biden 66%, Trump 23%. And let me stop there. This whole category of black voters, I have said for years that it's almost impossible for a Republican candidate to win the quote black vote, end quote. And that shouldn't ever be the goal. The goal should be to chop away at that number. And that's starting to happen. Other minorities, 43% Biden, 45% Trump. White folks with a college degree or with some college, 55 to 40. Whites without college, 29 to 62. Now, I want to stop there too. This whole idea that you're a dumb stick if you've not been to college is ridiculous. It's a narrative that we must push back on. Just because you have not sat, in some of our vaunted educational venues and received their approval, doesn't mean you're a dumb stick. Doesn't mean you can't think. Doesn't mean you can't read. It doesn't mean any of that. But white folks without college degrees, 29 to 52 Trump, or 29 to 62 Trump. Folks in flyover country in the Midwest, 39 to 55 Trump. The suburb, which is that is moving. It is said that the suburb, especially suburban women, white women, won it for Joe Biden in 2020. But right now, only two points separate Biden and Trump, 46 to 44%. Biden, 2020, was 83 to 10 in the suburb. That's pulled back significantly. Why? Because the suburban women do the grocery shopping. So it's not surprising to see Trump handily up among male voters. It is surprising to see him tied with women. In this survey, the 45th president is leading Hispanics outright and is pulling a vote share among Black voters that would have absolutely been fatal to the Democrat coalition. Even if it's in the ballpark of being accurate of accuracy, but it's the final number that is the most significant. If Biden loses anywhere close to 10% of his 2020 voters to Trump this fall, with a falling off the third party or alternatives or apathy, that would be lethal to his chances, especially with Trump retaining nearly 97% of his 2020 supporters in this survey in the Electoral College last time. His margin of error in pulling a repeat is slim. Red flags were everywhere. This should be interesting. Mr. Biden is only winning 83% of his 2020 voters, with 10% of them saying they're going to vote for Trump. The problem is that a majority of voters who supported Joe Biden in 2020 says now he's too old. Well, you know what? It's interesting. I don't think he's too old, but it seems to me, because I'm not a doctor, and I'm not his doctor for sure. He's definitely too infirm. He looks weak, and that's what we care. And that's what we care about. We don't care about what it is. We care about what it looks like. He looks weak. He looks not firm. He looks shaky, right? So a majority of voters who supported him in 2020 now says he's too old to lead the country effectively. Wow. A striking 61% of those polls said he's just too old. Wow. 19% of those who voted for Mr. Biden in 2020 and 13% of those who said they would back him in November said the 81-year-old president